Hey everybody! I'm here in our second video in a series of just tips on how to do your hair. My first one was about how to do your hair after the gym without necessarily having to wash it. So if you missed it, go ahead and search for it. Scroll down, it should be somewhere around there. This second one is going to be about how to properly apply curl cream to women with curly hair, and actually 70% of women and men have curly hair, so this is for anybody on the spectrum. Some of these tips might work perfectly for you. Some of them you might have to tweak a little bit. Curly hair, every person is different. So just take everything with a grain of salt and figure out your kind of curl and your humidity factor is a lot depending on where you are in the world. Keep that in mind. We'll talk a little bit more about that. So start with wet hair right out of the shower. The first thing to not do is don't wrap your head in a towel on top of your head. This might seem ridiculous, but it makes a huge difference. So you come out of the shower, and it's dripping all over you, and you're already annoyed with me, and you just take your towel like this, and you dry it like this. You're going to squeeze the moisture out of it. That way, basically the whole goal today is to mess with your curls as little as possible, okay? Because the less you mess with them, the prettier they're going to be. So, once you've gotten a lot of that moisture out of there, I also wouldn't wait too long after you take a shower. You want it pretty wet, especially if you're going to be working with some thick curl cream. Sorry guys, got a little tangle over here. Okay, let's try that again. Section off a section here. Curl cream, there's lots of different kinds of curl cream. I am using one of my favorite brands. Where do I show this? That's how much curl cream you put in. One section. Again, if you have really thick hair, you might need more. If you have really thin hair, you might need less. Play with your sections and the amount of product. But you're going to work it in. Kind of comb your fingers through it. Don't comb it with like a comb. Just use your fingers. It shouldn't be too hard to get through because in the shower, I know you used a wide tooth comb with really thick conditioner. I know you've already done that, so this shouldn't be too difficult. You're going to do this section by section. Work through, make sure all the tangles are out. I kind of like to push these curls back together, kind of do a thing like this. Same thing over here. Right? And then you can kind of create the curl again once you have all your product in there. Okay, so you're going to repeat that for a few more sections. I'm going to do 3 sections in my hair. I have pretty thick hair, so I don't know, if you have less hair, maybe you can get away with less sections. If you live in a place that doesn't have a ton of humidity, maybe you can get away with less sections. I can't. So I'm just kind of guessing here. We might marry a couple sections together, but the important part is the reason we use this curl cream is because you're trying to create a barrier between your hair and the humidity in the atmosphere. Because the reason hair gets frizzy is because it kind of acts like a sponge. So any moisture balance that's off, so like if you don't properly use like a really good conditioner, or if you don't have a good curl cream, if you like miss a section and you're not creating like a good barrier between your hair and the humidity in the air, your hair is gonna try to like soak up the moisture in the air and get weird, get frizzy. So same kind of thing, using the product. I'm concentrating on the ends because the ends tend to be more porous. So then they're gonna suck up the humidity quicker and faster. So just making sure we get every piece. This seems maybe like overkill, but if you live in Florida and the humidity gets ridiculous, it is not overkill. All right, last section. I'm going to use a little bit more product on the top because this is exposed to the elements more than the rest of it. Again, I have thick hair, So adjust accordingly based on what kind of hair you have. Let's say I use a quarter size on my thick hair. If you feel like you have fine hair, start with the size of a dime or like a chickpea. If you have somewhere in the middle, then somewhere in the middle between a chickpea and a quarter. Dollop. Another important thing about curly hair is that you just really need lots of moisture. So you're going to use mask every once in a while. Get a good mask that's going to help keep the moisture balance in your hair where it needs to be. You're going to use really thick conditioner to keep it from getting dry. Curly hair is just always naturally kind of dry. You're going to get a really good curl cream that's not going to build up on your hair. That's just going to keep the humidity out without making it crunchy. Ooh, we don't like crunchy curly hair. Nobody wants that. And I go one step further and I take, just to make sure I didn't miss anything, I take a leave-in conditioner and kind of spray it. Again, it sort of helps that curl cream move around a little bit, but also it's insurance. If for some reason you did miss a couple pieces, this adds some moisture. So get a spray, leave-in conditioner. And then you're going to diffuse. The reason why you diffuse curly hair is to get some volume up in here. Because what we don't want the pyramid thing. And if you don't diffuse in the top, you're going to end up kind of like this most of the time. If you don't want to diffuse, that's okay. Skip this part. Fast forward to the end. Okay, on my blow dryer, you're going to want low fan and high heat because you don't want, again, you don't want to disturb your curls too much. You want to kind of leave them where they are and just heat them up a little bit so they start to dry. And then also, you're going to flip your head upside down and we're going to focus at your roots. You don't really need to get the ends in there too much. It's kind of hard to avoid them, but you'll be able to see what I'm doing here. So let me turn this on. So low fan, high heat. Alright, so I don't blow dry my hair till it's all the way dry. I just blow dry it enough to get the volume kind of going in the top. And you see me doing something like this. What I'm doing is I'm trying to get these curls, I have bangs, and sometimes I don't want them. So if you take and sort of tuck them, it'll pull into the rest of the curls. So like this is not cute. But if you take this and kind of twist it where you want it to go, tuck it, as it dries, it'll kind of be what you want it to be. And from this point on, until you wet it, you do not touch your hair. You can't put your fingers through it. If you're going to put it up in a ponytail, you're done. Just put it up in a ponytail and leave it, because the second time you put it in a ponytail, it probably won't look as good. Curly heads, know what I mean? So you just leave it and you let it air dry. And as it air dries, a lot of the volume comes up. Some women have hair that's like straight in the front and curly in the back. Totally normal. What you're going to do is, once you have it totally dry, don't do this on wet hair. Once you have it totally dry, you're going to take those straight pieces, let's pretend this one's straight, and you're going to wrap it around a wand like this. And that wand curl is going to look more like your natural curl than like a regular curling iron. So if you get done Or day 2, and this is great for day 2. You sleep on it and like one side is like stuck to your face and the other side is super beautiful. You take this and you kind of fake it. Don't do every curl because then it's going to look like you curled your hair. But if you do a couple curls here and there, maybe we'll make another video on that. It helps to make it look natural. So for your Florida beach days, this is what you do. Thanks, guys. I just want to say thanks for watching my video. If you enjoyed the information or thought I was funny, give me a thumbs up and subscribe so that you don't miss any videos in the future. Thanks!